welcome back to Success Chats. I'm Sophia, and today we're going to talk about why you should not settle in your life. This is so incredibly important, so keep listening. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or just life in general, a lot of people settle. Now, what is settling? It's when you know you are meant for so much more, but you settle with less than what you believe you deserve. Deep down, you know what you deserve. You know what you can accomplish in this life. Your soul knows what is meant for you, and you're ignoring that and you're staying in your comfort zone. In my life, I've known that I am meant for more, and I've gotten to a point where I'm not settling. Maybe when I was younger, maybe in my teenage years, I thought, "Oh, I will do this. I will just get married to this guy. He's good, whatever." No. When I became an adult, I made the decision. I decided, "You know what? I'm not settling. I'm breaking generational cycles in my family. I'm going above and beyond, and that is what I know I am meant to do in my soul." And ultimately, if you follow what you know is right for you in your soul, you will be rewarded. Settling is something that is easy. It's easy to settle, right? Um, you could settle with your job if you think, "Oh, yeah, this job's okay. I mean, I should be getting paid more, but it's okay." No. Anytime I felt like, "You know what? I don't feel like they're treating me how I should be treated. I don't feel like I'm getting paid what I'm worth, so I will leave." I've done that, and then I'm always rewarded with something more because I genuinely believe that I deserve better. So, you can do this if you are able to shift your mindset and believe that you are worth it. Same goes for a relationship. I've had many situations. I've been in a lot of different relationships where I could have settled. I could have been with a guy who, yeah, he's nice, whatever, but I don't really like that he does this, this, and this. And then I said to myself, "You know what? I'm not settling because I know that that's not right for me. I know it's not right in my soul. I can feel it. That feeling, listen to that feeling in your soul. It's very important that you listen to it. And that will guide you into what you deserve. And even though sometimes going out of your comfort zone can feel hard, the universe and God, whatever you believe in, I believe in God, I also believe in the universe, will reward you when you do that hard thing. That is the way life works. You follow what's meant for you, you eventually will be rewarded. The first part of not settling is letting go of something that you know you don't deserve. You have to let go of that. And it's tough. That's one of the hardest parts is letting go. Let's say you're in a relationship and you know it's not right for you and you know you have to let go. The longer you entertain that, let's say you think you kind of let go, but you keep going back to it. You keep going back to that guy, that toxic situationship. God and the universe will not put what is meant for you in your path until you release that. You cannot possibly get what you deserve if you are holding on to that because you are showing God and the universe that number one, you're not ready for that bigger and better thing. And number two, you believe that that's what you deserve. I can tell you that every relationship that I have left, I've always gotten someone better for me who I connected with better on every level. On every level. The universe and God has rewarded me because I did the hard thing. I said, "You know what? No, I'm cutting it off." And that goes with a relationship, a friendship, a job. As soon as I feel like that's not for me, I'm not getting what I am worth, and I cut that off. It may not happen right away, but I promise you the universe will reward you. In order to get what you want, you have to let go. Okay, so that's number 1. No strings attached. You can't be going back to it a little bit. You have to completely let go because you can't possibly receive it if your energy is still with that thing. You need to release your energy from it. If you're putting all your energy towards it, your energy cannot possibly go towards anything else. If you're looking to attract a new relationship, your mind and your energy is occupied towards someone else, and the universe and God will not give you that good thing, what is meant for you, because you are so occupied with something else. You need to release. So number 1 is letting go. Number 2 is you need to be a little bit delusional about it. Very successful people in the world got to where they are because they believed that they could do it. Okay? We are all the same. It is a miracle that we are all on this earth. It is an absolute miracle. You are a miracle. For you to be here is a miracle, and you are here for a divine purpose. We all have a purpose in life. So the fact that you are here, you are just as good as the most successful person in the world, you are just as good as the most famous person in the world. Believe that, because you are meant for so much. And I've genuinely believed in my life, like at certain times I'm like, no, like I'm special. I'm here for a reason. I know that. And that is how I've gotten to where I am. I've already done things that I shouldn't have done. Like I I had a very hard traumatic childhood. I did. I won't get into details, but based on what I was given, I shouldn't be where I am. But I literally believe that I deserve this, and then I work towards that goal. And I accomplish it because I believe that I'm worth it. I never say I'm I'm not good enough for that. No, I'm good enough for it. If that person's good enough for it, I'm good enough for it. So, step 2 is be a little bit delusional. You have to believe and act like you are meant for this thing. If you like want to be something, you need to act like that person. Since I started becoming a little bit more spiritual and more into myself, I started looking up different meditations, and I found a meditation that was really really helpful, and I really would recommend you try it. It was, just put on some relaxing music, lay down, feel comfortable, close your eyes, and imagine the absolute best version of yourself. Okay? I don't know who's listening to this, if you're a girl or a guy. What does he or she look like? Think of exactly what they look like. What's their hair color? What does their skin look like? What are they wearing? How do they act? And that honestly helps me get on this journey to becoming the best version of myself, because I even did this when my hair was more blonde. And when I envisioned my higher self, she had dark hair. So I was like, let me just become her. And literally just like changing myself to emulate my higher self, what I see of her, that's what you want. You want to work towards becoming that person, because your soul knows exactly what your higher self looks like. They know what they're doing. And it's your job to take steps toward becoming that person, because that person exists. Okay? And anytime you're in a situation where you don't know what to do, you think, well, what would she do? Would my higher self put up with this? And if the answer is no, then you need to take a step back and handle it the way you think your higher self would handle it. So be delusional and understand that you deserve so much. You are just as good as anyone else on this earth. It is so amazing. There's miracles happening every day. You could accomplish what you want by tomorrow. Genuinely. Another step towards not settling and reaching your goals is being grateful. Every time before I go to sleep, I pray and I say everything I'm grateful for. The universe and God love when you mention what you are grateful for, and when you just have gratitude in general. That is so important, because what we have today could be gone tomorrow. You have food and you have shelter and you have your health. You have it today, but you might not have that tomorrow. So be grateful for it today. It is so incredibly important. When I lay down at night, I thank God, thank you so much for my family, my friends, the fact that I have clean water to drink, the fact that I have food to eat, the fact that I'm in a warm bed, that is such a blessing. And then I work my way up, the fact that I have a great job, I have great friends, I I drive a car, like one of my dream cars that I never thought I would be driving. I have this life that I enjoy. I'm healthy. I can go to the gym. Like, be grateful for everything in your life. It's so important. I think we oftentimes, a lot of the time, we settle for people or relationships that are not right for us. This is a big thing because people can really bring you down in your life if they're not elevating you, if they're not making you happy. You might not, you don't realize it, but you might literally not be doing something in your life because you're concerned what your friend will think. That's not a friend. Every friend currently in my life supports what I am doing, is so incredibly supportive, believes in me 1,010%, like cheers me on, roots for me. That is your friend. Anyone who you don't feel good after you leave the situation, you're like, "Oh, I don't that made me feel weird. Like I don't like that." That person's not your friend. And it's so hard. Trust me, I know. I've cut off a lot of people in my life who where I felt like I don't feel like they're a friend. Like I don't feel like they have a genuine heart. And sometimes I like with friends, like old friends or old relationships I've had, I can't even like fathom why they did what they did. But what a beautiful thing that I can't understand that because I would never do it to someone. Like your heart is so pure that you can't understand why they did what they did. And that's an amazing thing. So just feel so blessed that your heart is so good. And I know everyone listening to this, I know like you're an amazing person. So just understand that you don't need to understand why they did what they did. You don't need to understand why they hurt you. They're hurting inside, and that is why they did that. So don't settle for a relationship or a friendship that is less than what you deserve because it will only bring you down in life. I think a really beautiful thing about not settling as well is like I've noticed in my life when I set expectations for myself, like, yeah, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to reach this goal. I'm going to cut this person off. God and the universe even reward me in tenfold. I'm rewarded even so much more than I thought that I was going to be. And that's such a beautiful thing. Like, whatever goal you set for yourself, the universe and God will even make it so much better. Like, I think that's so amazing. Like, if you set out to accomplish something, you don't even know how great it could be. So just as long as you don't settle, you keep working towards your goal, you will get to an amazing place. I promise you that. Even with friendships, you say, "Oh, I feel bad, like I don't want to cut this person off." Like, is it selfish for me to do that? No. It's okay. This is your life. It's okay for you to be selfish in your life. If someone's not adding to your life, if someone's not making you feel good or not making you happy, you need to be selfish because it will not help you get to the highest version of yourself. What people in your life will help you get to that highest version? It's those people who light you up, who make you happy, who inspire you. Those are the people that you should center yourself around. Anyone who gives you kind of an icky feeling or makes you turn your head sideways a little bit, that is not your friend. Trust me, I've had many friends in my life where I was like, yeah, I have fun with them and like whatever, but I don't know. I didn't like that they just did that to me. Like that wasn't cool. That didn't make me feel good. And once I got to like even these past 2 years, I got to a point where I was like, all right, you're not my friend anymore. And maybe those people didn't think I would ever cut them off, but guess what? I haven't settled for anything in my life, so you should have thought twice because that does not mean I'm settling for a friendship like this. It does not mean that I'm settling for a relationship like this. Something that also has helped me with not settling is listening to God and the universe and also manifestation. So I will tell you a story. Um, I've mentioned before that I was in a long relationship. I dated someone for 8 years. I cut that off. And during that time, I really wanted to build myself up, like become a better version of myself. And I was just like trying a bunch of new things. And this was, oh my God, this was a while ago. Maybe this was a year ago at this point. I don't know, a while ago. I was like, okay, I want to go to a psychic. It was something I wanted to experience. I've never done it before. I was a little bit interested. So I found the psychic in like a few towns over from me, like a psychic shop. It was a spiritual shop. So I was like, okay, this looks legit. I'm going to go to it. So I book an appointment with this woman. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to get into super detail about what she said about me, but I didn't say a word about myself. How she described me, like deep to the core, was pretty accurate. She brought up a lot of things. I was like, okay, like I would agree with that. Yeah. One thing I asked her was, I want you to, like, please, I said, at this point in my life, I said, I want to attract a man into my life. I said, I'm very picky and it's hard for me to find someone that I connect with, who I like, and I want to attract a new man into my life. And she said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to, when you get home, you have a journal. I said, yes. She said, okay, get out your journal and you're going to write down on one page who you currently are. On the next page, you're going to write down who you want to become. And on the third page, you're going to write down your perfect ideal man. She said, I want you to write down exactly who you want him to be, but kind of talk about it like you already have him. Like, oh, I love this about my man. I love that about my man. And she said, I want you to be so specific. You write down every quality he has. She said, I also want you to write down exactly what he looks like. She's like, no, but like in detail. She said, I want you to write down his hair color, his facial features, his body. She said, everything, even down to his private parts, like what he looks like. And I'm like, okay. So I go home, I get out my journal, I write everything down as classy as I possibly could, like wrote down exactly like my ideal man, like what I want him to look like, how I want him to act, how I want him to treat me. I remember I even wrote down, I want a very masculine man, a man who treats me very well, very chivalrous man. I want princess treatment. Like I was just writing down the ultimate man that I could think of in my head. But when you do this, you want to be extremely specific, because even though I was so specific with how he looked, how he acted, how he treated me, to be totally honest, I hadn't had like a full on situationship up until this point. So like I had kind of, but nothing like really that felt kind of like I had something where I was like, oh, I really like him. This is like, whatever. And so I didn't care at this point if it was a situationship. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for something long term. So I'm okay, like, if that's what it is. I didn't write down that I wanted this man to be emotionally available or anything like that. I kind of just wrote down some qualities, how I wanted to be treated, and exactly what he looked like. Okay. And I think that's also where I went wrong, was that I was not so specific about it. So I did this. I forgot about it, didn't think about it. 2 months later, I meet a guy. We start dating. I didn't realize in the beginning. And once we start dating, like we dated for around 3 months. It's fun. He's never gonna watch this. Doesn't follow me, and like 95% sure he would never watch this. But I never give specific details, regardless. But this man was everything I wrote down. Once I went back in my journal one day and I was like reading everything. I was like, "Oh my god, he's literally everything I wrote down, like to the T." Imagine, like, this is my ideal man. This is the man I literally wrote down in my journal. And I didn't tell him, like, we didn't get to that point where I was like, "Yeah, like I manifested you." No, like it was just crazy to me that I had manifested this guy all by myself, and like he was literally to the T, based on how he looked, based on every little detail, you guys, I wrote down in my journal. That was him. And I was, so as you could imagine, I was very attracted to this guy, because like physically he was exactly what I wanted, and he acted exactly as I wanted. So This is where it got interesting. I felt like God had given me this man as a test. God and the universe said, "Okay, you want the perfect man for in your eyes, what you think is perfect, I'll give him to you." But God and the universe said, "I'm going to make him very toxic." And even though he has all the qualities you wrote down on paper and physically he looks exactly as you want him to look, I'm going to make him really toxic. And let's see if you love yourself enough to leave this situation. Are you ready for the ultimate man that I have for you? So I'm putting this man in your way as a test. And I didn't know that. I'm just thinking like, wow, this guy's great. And I saw, oh yeah, like here's a red flag. Here's a red flag, but I was like, but he's exactly what I wanted, but he has all the qualities, but we have such a good connection, you know? But he did so many things to hurt me, so many toxic things. This man was a test, and I showed God at that time I wasn't ready for my ultimate husband because I stayed with this guy who wasn't treating me well. I was telling God, I don't love myself enough to leave this. Think about how hard that is. I was given a man that was so perfect in my mind, but he was given to me in a toxic form. So it was a test. Could I love myself enough to leave this person? And at that time, the answer was no, I didn't. I didn't leave right away. I was like, I think I was so like mesmerized by the fact that I hadn't met anyone like this before, the fact that I had gotten exactly what I wanted, but I wasn't so specific with my manifestation, clearly. And it was really hard to leave. But I'm confident that if this person was put in my path now, that I would love myself enough to be like, no, I'm not. I'm not dealing with that. Like, good luck on your journey. I deserve more. That's it. Goodbye. And I wanted to tell this story because it's a really good lesson in that God and the universe will only give you more of what you deserve once you prove that you believe you deserve more. If I settled for that guy, I'm telling the universe, this is all I deserve because I settled for this guy. But since now I have not settled for him, I am telling God and the universe that I deserve more. Another thing I think about with the way the universe works, every relationship I've been in, once I leave, eventually the next person who I actually connect with, it gets better. It always gets better. Really think about it. And I know this is true for everyone. I've spoken about it with numerous friends. Think about every like serious relationship that you've been in. Wasn't each one better? Like each person was better, each connection was better. So that's a proven fact that if you leave that situation, you will eventually find someone better. And it may not happen right away. And I know that that's frustrating. I saw this thing on TikTok and this girl, she's like, oh, it takes me so long to find a guy I like. And like, I can relate, as I think many girls or people could relate. Like, it's hard a lot of the time to find someone who you actually like. Like there's many guys I go on dates with, but a very small percentage I'm like, yeah, like I like him, I would date him, I have a connection with him. Someone commented because the girl was talking about it's so hard for her to find someone you like. And then someone commented, I was reading the comments, and she said, yeah, but then the connection wouldn't be special if you had it with everyone. And that really sat with me. I was like, that is so true. Like, you're like, that's why these things are special because they don't happen often. If I found someone right away after him, it literally wouldn't be special. That's what makes it special. Is like it's so it happens so unexpectedly, and it's like like I only find a guy I like maybe like once or twice a year. I'm like, oh my god, I really like him. And if it happened just like all the time, it wouldn't be as special. So good things really do take time. I've met some of my best friends later on in my life as an adult, and it didn't happen right away, but once I started doing things I loved and doing things for me, like I met a lot of my best friends like doing really good things for myself, like hobbies, school, like anything I was like where I was like elevating in my life, that was where I met some like amazing people in my life. And if I hadn't done those things, if I hadn't listened to my soul that said, "Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do this." If I didn't listen to that, I would have never met some of the most amazing people that I've met in my life. So that's why I really encourage you, like, that voice inside of you, that voice that's telling you, "I want you to try this thing." Because guess what? That voice is your higher self. Your higher self knows exactly what is meant for you. Listen to that, because once you listen to that, your life is going to change on another level. You can get everything you desire if you listen to that voice. Every time I've listened to it, I've always benefited in the end. Another important part of not settling, so I had mentioned, is believing that you deserve more. Another important part of this is speaking things into existence, because then you will believe that it is happening. So literally telling yourself, I deserve more. Like looking in the mirror and being like, I am so beautiful. I am so magnetic. I am amazing. I attract good people into my life. Just give yourself positive affirmations. Say these things out loud, because that will help you speak them into existence and not settle. If you are saying negative things about yourself, that will that might make you settle. If you because then you're believing that you deserve less, and you do not. You deserve the absolute most in this life. So, we talked about kind of thinking of the best version of yourself. When you think about that person, that higher self, I want you to become them. I want you to act like them. And I also want you to think, I want to be that person for my inner child. I want to be the person my inner child didn't have, the parent that my inner child did not have. Be your own parent, be your own supporter, be your own cheerleader. There was a lot of times where I was alone in my life. I didn't have anyone. I'm telling you, I spent like Christmases alone. People don't know this about me. I have been isolated. I've had many times where I've been isolated, but that is why I'm so intelligent. That is why I'm so independent. That is why I break in these generational cycles of, like, I can support myself. I'm independent. I'm not settling for a man. I've gotten to this point in my life where I know God is going to bless me with such an amazing person one day. I know it's not my time right now. I don't know exactly when my time is, but I know that I'm elevating, and God will give me that person once I'm at a certain level where he's like, this is the level you're going to meet him at, not here. This is the level. So be that person for your inner child. Your inner child deserves it. I feel confident enough to say that the version of myself that I am now, I would feel so comfortable letting my younger self be around her. I would feel so happy to guide that little girl, to like be a parent to that little girl, because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have anyone where I said, "Oh, like, I'm looking up to this person. I want to be just like you." I didn't have that. I had to create that for myself. And that's what I've done, and that is also what I'm working toward every day, is becoming better, because that is so important. We have one life, and you might be saying to yourself, if this idea of don't settle, "Oh, well, it's too late for me." It is never too late for you. It's never. There are some people that have achieved so much success later in their life, and maybe it's because they needed to learn certain things beforehand, and like, good things take time. You may not have appreciated that thing. If you get it tomorrow, you're not going to appreciate it the same way, whereas maybe you've worked for it for a year, maybe you've worked for it for a few years. You are not going to appreciate it in the same way. So understand God's timing. Understand that everyone's timeline is so unique and so beautiful and so different. There are things that I've accomplished way before anyone else I know in my life, and there are other things that people in my life have accomplished, my friends or family, and I'm like who have accomplished it before me, and I am so happy for them. I think that is amazing. Like, we are all on our own unique timeline. So focus on yourself, focus on your timeline. How can I be better than I was yesterday? How can I be better than I was a year ago? Focus on yourself. Other thing with not settling is you may want to go back to the past because that is where your comfort zone is. I promise you, you will never grow in your comfort zone. It is impossible to grow in your comfort zone, but it's comfortable. But is that how you want to live your life? Being comfortable? Like, what if I told you if you had to be a little bit uncomfortable just for a little bit in order to reach that next step in your life, would you do it? Because eventually, once you step out of your comfort zone, your next level will become your new comfort zone. And then you could stay here or you can up level again. And then you're a little uncomfortable again, but then you get comfy again. And then it's a cycle, okay? So something becomes your comfort zone when you've been doing it for so long and then that's settling. But in our lives, like, we are beings where we need to constantly evolve. It is our job on earth to constantly be evolving. So get out of your comfort zone. It's okay if you look a little, if you're scared, if you're embarrassed, because guess what? Those people who have taken risks are the most successful people in this world. They got out of their comfort zone. They said, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it. I'm doing this thing. I don't care. I know I'm supposed to do it. And I know I will get rewarded. I know the way the universe works. I've seen it. Something about myself that I'm really grateful for is in my life, I have always had something where if I settle, I literally feel like I'm gonna die. Like, I go into a depression if I'm comfortable for too long. I need to constantly be evolving. I need to constantly be like, how can I get to that next level? If I don't, something feels so wrong with me. And I feel like my ancestors gave this to me. They're like, you're the one who's gonna stir some shit up and like make a different life for your family and for yourself. You're the one. Because anytime I feel like I'm not working toward a goal, I feel physically ill. Okay? I literally feel physically ill. I feel like I cannot like go on in my life if I'm not working towards something. I need to be working towards something and I need to like listen to my soul and do that hard thing even though it makes me uncomfortable. For me, the uncomfortable feeling that I feel is better than that other feeling I feel if I'm staying stuck. Being stagnant for me is like one of the worst feelings I can possibly feel. So, like, it's like, would you rather be uncomfortable for a little bit or like stay with that feeling where, yeah, maybe you feel comfortable, but it's just not going to benefit you in the long run? In summary, at the end of the day, settling is a choice, but so is choosing yourself. So at the end of the day, choose yourself. Do not choose to settle. You are worthy of the love, the friendship, the opportunities that align with your higher self. So do not settle for less than what you deserve. Listen to your soul, listen to what lights you up inside, makes you happy. That is the direction that you are meant to go in. Trust your worth and remember that the universe will meet you at the level that you believe that you are on. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to share it with someone else. I love you guys so much and I hope you have a great rest of your day.